Reducing fractions to lowest terms. Well, we have learned two methods to reduce fractions to lowest terms, and we'll apply both the methods this time. Now the question is 28 over 42. So method 1, which we are saying is what? Is like factor and simplify, right? First is factor and simplify. Okay, so in this method what we do is we write the fraction in factored form. For example, 28 over 42, 28 is what? 28 can be written as 7 times 4, right? And 42 is 7 times 6. So if I write 28 as 7 times 4 and 42 as 7 times 6, then we see a common factor, which is 7 and 7. So we can cancel it out, right? So that means dividing by 7 is my first step. So if I do that, what do I get? I get something which is 4 over 6, correct? Now, then when we say lowest terms, we mean the factor should be just 1, which is common between them, no other factor. Let's check this out. Now, 4 over 6 could be written as 4 is 2 times 2 and 6 is 2 times 3. Well, we still have a common factor, which is not 1 but also 2. So we'll cancel this 2 out this time, and when we do that, we are left with 2 over 3. So we get 2 over 3 as our answer, right? So we can say, well, 28 over 42 can be written in lowest terms as equal to 2 over 3. So we get an answer, right? So this is by method factor and simplify. Now remember one thing, in such questions, you can factor either way, right? There is no right way of factoring or wrong way of factoring. So, and sometimes we may have to factor it in number of steps. Here we required kind of, in this method, 2 steps this time, right? To get this result, right? Now let's do method number 2, and which I say repeated division, right? So we have this method as repeated division. Now I'll show you how to get the answer using repeated division. That is 28 over 42. Now I'll move towards the right side as we repeatedly divide them by common factors. Now as you see, they are both even numbers, so I could divide them by 2, right? Can I divide them by 4? Let's check it out, because both are even, right? Yes, we can also divide them by 4. So it's up to you. You can divide by 2 or by 4. Let's keep it simple. Let's do division by 2 first, right? So if I divide this by 2, what do I get? I get half of 28, which is 14, and then 42 when I divide by 2, I get 21. So I get 21 and 14. Now 21 and 14, do I have something in common between them? Well, 7 is common between them, so we'll divide them by 7. So if I divide by 7, 7 times 2 is 14, and 7 times 3. Okay, good job. So 2 over 3 is what I get. So I get 2 over 3 as my answer by dividing them repeatedly. So first I divided them by 2's, right? And then by 7, correct? So we got the result. So that is repeated division. So these are the 2 methods which could be followed, and we get the same answer, 2 out of 3, right? Okay, let's do this method now for part B. So we'll repeat both the methods and see whether we have really learned the process or not. 48 over 64. Now if I try to write this in factored form, it kind of becomes difficult as the numbers become bigger and bigger, right? So this factor and simplify method, it's not a good method when we are dealing with big numbers. But when we do repeated division, it doesn't really matter. There may be more steps, but we can quickly divide and get the result, right? So one thing we learned is that if the numbers are bigger, then repeated division is better than factor and simplify. Anyway, we'll apply both methods this time. 48 is 6 times what? And 64 is 8 times 8, okay. 8 times 8, right. 6 times 8 is 48, okay, that's fine. Now, 8 and 8 are common, so we can cancel them out. So what are we left with? we are left with 6 over 8. Good. Now 6 could be written as 3 times 2 and 8 can be written as 4 times 2, right? Now in this case we can divide these 2's and what do we get? We get 3 out of 4. Well, that was easy. So we can write this as 3 out of 4. So we have reduced this fraction 48 over 64 as equal to 3 out of 4. So it wasn't that bad, right? So probably if the numbers are in hundreds, we'll prefer repeated division. Up to 100, I think we can do with this factoring method also. Okay. Now let's do repeated division for this number. And this time I'll kind of go vertical. So I'm writing the number right in the center as 48 over 64. Now step number 1, both are even, right? So I'm dividing by 2. So I'm writing here first step divide by 2, right? So when I divide by 2, I get here 24 and 32, right? Okay. Now again, let me divide by 2, right? I'm just writing for my own convenience. It's good, right? Dividing by 2, I get what? I get 12. Half of 24 is 12. Half of 32 is 16. Good. We can further divide by 2. Okay, let's divide, right? Divide 2. So 12 half is 6. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Good. Now again, they are even numbers. Let's divide them by 2. So when I divide by 2, I get half of 6 is 3 and 4. Wow, good job. So we get 3 over 4, the same result, right? So I can write down my result as 3 out of 4. Correct. So we get the same result, but the thing is, in this repeated divisions, we don't have to think much. We just do it, right? Now here, we kind of get stuck. Like, what are the two numbers which are going to give us 48? At times may be very difficult to find. But here, just divide, right? So you land up with the same answer. So not a bad method at all, right? So I prefer this method, especially when we have big numbers, right? If the numbers are smaller, we know what the factors are, correct? And let us also understand what it means. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 means what? If we have, let's say a rectangle here, and if I divide this rectangle into 4 equal parts, think that there are 4 equal parts, then 3 out of 4 really means that we take away 3 parts out of 4, right? So that is what is 3 out of 4. But you know, it's 3 out of 4, and it is also 48 over 64. So this is the same as 48 over 64, right? So if I write 48 over 64, you kind of don't really get that idea that it'd be 3 out of 4, right? So simplify the fractions so that we can appreciate them more, correct? So that is one way of looking into it, right? I hope you appreciate and understand what we do to simplify or reduce fractions to lowest terms. So I hope you remember, lowest terms means that the fraction will have only 1 as the common factor between numerator and denominator, no other common factor. If there is 1, you can further reduce. And reduction can be done in number of steps. These are the things which we have learned. See, we took 2 steps here and so many steps to reduce it to the lowest terms. So follow any method you like to reduce, and then try to visualize what this fraction was, right? These big fractions are difficult to understand, but once you simplify, they are simpler to understand. So it makes sense. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you and all the best.